It's a national oxygen emergency. The sort of reports that are coming in where hospitals across Delhi and NCR are now complaining of oxygen shortage. It is not just Delhi. There are reports coming in from other parts of the country also, but the situation is quite grim in the national capital. In fact, sources in the Max Hospital say that only 2 to 3 hours of oxygen is left at Max hospitals. In Delhi, 2 hours of oxygen left at Max Shalimar Bagh, 3 hours of oxygen left at Max Patparganj. Srinivasan Jain now joins us with all the latest. Vasu, this is a pretty alarming situation, much like what we saw last night.
Absolutely, Sanket. You correctly described this as an oxygen emergency. We've been seeing this going back and forth. Last night, there was a build-up of a massive crisis at some of these hospitals, Gangaram, Max Patparganj and so on. Some stock was received late last night, early in the hours of this morning. But once again, the situation has spiraled into a crisis-like scenario, the latest being the release that has been put out by Max Hospitals. Of all their 6 hospitals in Delhi, the worst hit appear to be Max in Shalimar Bagh, with only 2 hours of oxygen left according to the release, and Max in Patparganj with only 3 hours of oxygen left according to the release. Between both these hospitals, based on the figures put out by Max, there appear to be close to almost 600 COVID patients who are being treated in these hospitals. According to the release, it says these are working on a dangerously low level of oxygen supply, which can lead to very serious adverse patient incidents. The release says that they are facing supply uncertainties and delays, leading to serious concerns regarding a calamitous incident involving patients. They're appealing to the state and central government to help us. Sanket, Max officials are telling us that at least with the Shalimar Bagh hospital, which has only 2 hours left, they have visibility of the vendor, which means that they're in contact with the vendor, and the vendor is giving indications that he might reach about in an hour's time, which will be touch and go. But what is worrying, Sanket, is that when it comes to Max Patparganj, there is no visibility. In other words, they're not able to contact the vendor, and that is what is causing even more alarm. So that's the situation as of now, and indeed, until the authorities step in and try and resolve this, this could erupt into some very, very unfortunate circumstances.
All right, Srinivasan Jain, many thanks for joining us with all the latest. So this oxygen crisis in Delhi and NCR hospitals continues, as Vasu was telling. In most of these hospitals that are COVID hospitals, you have supply only for a few hours. This time around, the crisis has happened because of a supplier being told allegedly by the Haryana administration not to let or release trucks out which are outbound or have to go outside of Haryana. This was a statement also by the Haryana Minister Anil Vij, who said that first we'll meet our demands and then perhaps release trucks for other states. But should that be allowed? Is this a form of vaccine subnationalism that is being practiced by Haryana? Yesterday, there were allegations against Uttar Pradesh at the plant in UP where oxygen is made, and today similar allegations against a Faridabad-based plant. Sukirti now joins us live with all the latest. Sukirti, can you give us an update on Delhi hospitals? I believe now there is some sort of an arrangement, even late last night when this similar incident seemed to have occurred from Uttar Pradesh. There was an intervention from the center, and then eventually these oxygen trucks started moving. This time around, what are you hearing? Any form of central intervention?
Well, yes, Sanket. So today what happened is that these oxygen tankers got stuck near Faridabad, and that is why several hospitals in Delhi like St. Stephen's, or if you look at the Holy Family Hospital, all of these hospitals, their oxygen supply comes from Faridabad, and that had got stuck. We also had the medical directors of these hospitals complaining about the same on our channel. So when I raised this question to the Health Secretary, Mr. Rajesh Bhushan, today while the Health Ministry press conference was happening, he said that the Faridabad issue has been resolved by me. As I was coming to this 4 p.m. press conference, just before that, we have resolved this issue of Faridabad. So very soon you will start hearing from hospitals that they have started receiving their supplies. And that is what happened with the St. Stephen's Hospital, where my colleague Shanakshi is reporting from. But of course, the picture is much bigger than that, as my colleague Vasu was reporting right now, that in the Max Hospital they have supplies only for the next 1 or 2 hours, and now we are seeing similar complaints from hospitals across Noida as well. So on one hand, we do have the Union Health Ministry saying they are ramping up production, they are ensuring and are in consultation with states to ensure unhindered movement, but there seems to be no long-term strategy in sight. Every time a new stock comes, but the supply lasts only for 12 to 16 hours at a time when these hospitals are dealing with thousands and thousands of patients.